Yo, 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 what is going on? It is Crazy Writer right here, right now, back with chapter 38 of my Invader Zim fanfiction. Yeah, I'm back. Me, I'm back. And so is all of this. If you're here, you've made it this far. And if you can make it through this particular chapter, you are a trooper. And I believe that you can make it to the end. I believe in you. I believe that once again you can sit back, relax, and you can enjoy it all. Right here, right now. Chapter 38. This ain't Nickelodeon. Dib's point of view. I sat at the little table and watched those two slow dance together. I hated to admit it, but they sort of looked great together. You could see he was happy to be with her, and she was happy to be with him. I had almost become addicted to watching those two together. It wasn't a healthy addiction either. It was the kind of addiction that causes you more pain than good, but you can't help it to continue to feed it. Isn't that what all addiction is, Dib? Come on, man. I used to spy on Zim's house with the hopes of catching him doing something evil and alien-like. Now I watch their house with the hopes of seeing them together, but I was mostly hoping to see them splitting up. They never did split up. It was such a strange thing to obsess over, and I knew that. I went as far as hiding a camera in the janitor closet that I know they like to go to during lunch. I take my laptop to the bathroom where I watch them suck on each other for half an hour, imagining that it's me holding Liz. And the thing is, watching them together like that, it got me excited. The weird kind of excited. All they did was kiss, but it was enough to get me going. What was wrong with me? What was their relationship doing to me? I expected myself to be jealous, but never thought it'd be doing this to me. Tonight, though, seeing them like this was too much for me. The song ended and I hadn't realized I had been singing along to myself. Why were they still dancing like that? The song was over and the new one wasn't even a slow song. Stop it, Liz. Stop dancing with him like that. I couldn't take it anymore. I had to get out of there before I did something stupid. I shot up from my chair. I'm going to the bathroom, I told Gaz and Gretchen before running off. I kicked the bathroom door open to see a few guys smoking in a circle. I wasn't in the mood to put up with this kind of shit. Get out! I shouted at them and pointed out the door. Just get out! What's wrong, big head? One of the boys asked. Do you need to deflate? Him and the other boys started laughing. I said, get the hell out! I stepped closer and shouted louder. All right, Four Eyes, chill. The boy put his hands up in surrender. They all put out their cigarettes and left. Once they were gone, I let loose. I screamed at the ceiling and pulled at my hair. I started pacing in front of the mirrors, while still screaming in anger. I kicked at the paper towel dispenser and yanked all the paper towels out. I threw them all over the place. I ripped them to shreds and I crumbled them up and just destroyed them. I kicked open the stalls and yanked the toilet paper from their holders, throwing the entire roll as hard as I could. I punched the walls and ripped the stall doors from their hinges. I unleashed anger and strength I never thought I had. At one point, I held a stall door above my head and was about to throw it when Melvin opened the bathroom door. A look of terror flew across his face before he closed the door again. I was breathing heavily and looked at myself in the mirror. I saw myself in my black suit, holding this innocent bathroom stall door above my head, like I had held the innocent Gretchen above my head. I threw the door to the ground without looking away from the mirror and approached the sink. I put my hands on the edge of the sink and stared into my own eyes. What is wrong with me? I asked my reflection. He didn't answer, of course. I was growing hot, so I ripped off my black jacket and undid my bow tie, letting it hang there around my neck. I stood there, staring at myself in my white shirt with two top buttons undone, What does he have that I don't have? I asked myself again. Why can't she see that I love her? But why do you love her? What do you see in her? She's gross, she's mean, she's a killer. She's with him, she's more herself than anyone I've ever met. You should have given her that note when you had the chance. You should have told her before their feelings for each other got too deep. I lowered my head and started choking on my own tears. I started off trying to hold back my sobs, but they came anyway. My legs stopped supporting me, and I fell to my knees, still clutching the edge of the sink. I sobbed some more as I finally released the sink and wrapped my arms around myself. I held myself as I cried there on the bathroom floor, my nails digging into my own side. I bowed my head until it was almost touching the ground, and I cried in this position for so long. When I had no more tears to cry, I turned my body so that I lay in fetal position on the floor, and there I stayed for the rest of the dance. 2.5 hours had passed, and Julian entered the bathroom, looking for me. Santa mierda! He stood there shocked upon seeing the mess of the bathroom. What happened here? Dib? He saw me and entered the bathroom, kneeling beside me. Dib, the dance is over. It's time to go home. My mama is waiting outside. I exhaled and closed my eyes for a moment before forcing myself to my feet. I picked up my jacket and slung it over my shoulder. Let's go then, I said as I headed out the door. The car ride was mostly quiet, except for Julian's mother asking her son how it went and everything. Gretchen was the first person to get dropped off, and I had to get out to let her out. I refused to look in Zim or Liz's direction at all during the ride. Lucky they weren't really trying to talk to me, and neither was anyone else. I was grateful for that because I really didn't feel like talking at all tonight. Next, it was time to drop Liz and Zim off. I finally looked in their direction as they slid out the door opposite of me. I watched them walk around the back of the car into the sidewalk beside me. I saw them together, and I snapped once more. I opened my own door and stepped out. Zim! I called after them, and they both turned around. I only had to take a couple steps closer, and then I did it. I straight up punched him in the left eye. Ow! He cried as he fell to the ground. Zim! Liz cried and was immediately on the ground beside him. She looked up at me with anger. What wrong with you, Dib? She asked. You not do anything all night. I didn't answer. I just turned around and climbed back into my seat, closing the door behind me. Whoa, it's been years since I've seen that kind of drama. Heather laughed in front of me. I watched Liz and Zim rise to their feet and then go into the house together. Heather silently drove off, and we rode in heavy silence for a bit. Why did you punch him, Senior Dib? Julian finally turned around in his seat and asked me. Before I could answer, Gaz answered for me. Isn't it obvious? He likes the she-wolf. Duh, Heather agreed. Even I could see that. I do not, I told them. Please, Gaz said. Don't even try to deny it, Dib. You like her, and everyone knows it. Well, almost everyone. Yeah, I crossed my arms. Liz seems to be the only one who hasn't figured it out. Oh, poor Dib, Julian said with pity-filled eyes. What do you mean, poor Dib? I asked him. What he means, Heather answered for her son, is that if you like a girl, you shouldn't be punching the guy that she does like, even if she is a crazy wolf thing. Hey, I dropped my arms. Liz isn't crazy. She just has some identity issues. We've all had those, right? Right, Heather said, but we could all tell she was being sarcastic. What my mama is trying to say, Dib, Julian started telling me, is that if you amour a girl, you should set her free. You should let her be happy with the one she amour. I was so sick of this, so sick of talking about this. It was bad enough that I lost my girl to Zim, but now the closest I have to friends are telling me I should just let them be together. I felt my anger build inside me again within seconds, and then erupt. I don't want her to be happy. I want her to be with me. I shouted and pounded my fists into the car door. The entire car fell silent. Not a response from Julian, not a smart-ass comment from Gaz, not even the bitchy words of Heather Muertos could have anything to say about what I'd just said. Julian turned back to facing the front of the car, and I began staring at my hands in my lap. Did I really mean that? Did I really just want her to myself even if she wasn't happy? Of course not. If she were with me, I'd want her to be happy with me. I just didn't want her to be with him. We pulled up in front of our house and I got out and headed for the front door. I heard Julian saying goodnight to Gaz, and she just shut the door on his words. I entered the house where Dad was sitting on the couch. "There you are, son," he said. "How was the dance? Did you have a nice time?" I didn't answer or even look at him. I just went upstairs and into my room. I started to close the door, but then I heard Gaz come in, and Dad asked her what was wrong with me. I kept the door open a crack to hear what her answer would be. "He dropped his date while doing the salsa and hid in the bathroom all night," she told him. "Then he punched him when we dropped off him and Liz." Dad sighed. "My poor insane son." I shut the door all the way then and started undressing myself. I left my dress shoes and suit in a little pile on the floor and stood there in my briefs. What a shitty night this has been. My whole life has been pretty shitty for as long as I could remember, but this trumps them all. One time I accidentally broke one of Dad's lamps that was shaped like him. I cleaned up the broken black and white glass and hid the pieces in a box I kept under my bed. I had forgotten about it for 2 years until tonight. I dropped to my knees beside my bed and pulled the dusty box out from underneath. I opened the dark cover to see the broken pieces as I had last seen them. The lamp looked how I felt. Broken, shattered, lost for all hope. I put my hand in the box and stirred the pieces about with my fingers, listening to the clinking as they interacted with each other. I moved a large piece out of the way to reveal a particularly sharp piece of glass that I had accidentally cut myself on when I was cleaning up the lamp. I picked up the shard and stared at it, turning it in my fingers. Yeah, told you this ain't Nickelodeon. And with that, I hope at least some of you enjoyed, and that I will see some of you little darlings next time, and that all of you will remember, keep your crazy.